Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
This is the Geek Podcast with Jishnu and Tejas.
Hi, and welcome to the Geek Food Podcast with me, Tejas, and you, Jishnu.
Hello.
Hi, man. Hey, can I sing the song today?
Are you going to sing Nerds of the Jungle?
No, I was going to do Look for the bare necessities,
Oh.
the simple bare necessities, to worry about your rebels or your life. I was thinking about that today. So
What
that's
are
it.
the necessities?
The bare necessities? I don't know, maybe like, I want to say Batman, Spider-Man, Star Wars, that's it. That's about it. And Lord of the Rings, sorry. Maybe Game of Thrones, now more than ever. We should not probably
I
do
question
this.
all of these choices.
Why? What are the bare necessities? Actually, this is a terrible topic.
This is a horrible topic.
Let's not even get into it just yet. Even though the episode is going to be about the Jungle Book today,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to talk about some other things that have happened in the last couple of
A
weeks.
lot
that-
has happened in a week.
Yeah.
A
Just
lot
before we
has
get
happened.
into it. So,
In
Jishnu,
our
why
realm.
don't you start? What has caught your fancy?
What has caught my fancy?
Yeah,
that's
what has caught?
happened?
Yeah, in the last couple
Oh,
of weeks.
Jeebus. Oh, Jeebus Mother Creebus.
Or should we save it for the end of the episode? I'm not even sure.
No, let's get it off our chest. So, obviously, the Rogue One thing has come out, right?
Yeah. And
and-
just after we did our Rebels episode, huh?
Right.
So, and we were
Did
kind
you
of.
know it was coming out actually last week? I was surprised to see it.
I didn't know it was going to. So because Star Wars Celebration is supposed to be happening on the 4th
Right,
of May,
yeah.
so that's usually when they drop all the major
So
trailers.
this
and
is
everything.
technically a teaser, even though it's 90 seconds.
It was quite long,
So-
and it's a complete story trailer.
Right.
And you know, that's how much I need. I'm sold.
Yeah.
Please, let's not watch anymore.
So I want to get this off my chest at the top of the hour because
Right.
this is something that I'm incredibly conflicted about more so than usual regarding trailers.
Okay.
Or regarding anything.
Right.
In this stratosphere of stuff that we talk about, which
Right.
is that you know my opinions on trailers in general, and that I'm not.
No, just
I'm
tell
not-
me.
I adore them with all my heart and all
Okay.
my being.
Yeah, I
and my
hate
everything.
trailers. Okay.
But
How do you get excited for stuff, man? If you don't watch trailers, just know.
because the stuff itself is exciting in its concept.
Fair enough.
I don't need
Yeah,
to see
I
it
guess
beforehand.
people
Yeah.
who are already into it don't really need trailers to kind of
Right, and this is,
excite
I mean,
themselves.
especially these movies. Like, it's another thing if, like, you know, I don't know, if Cameron Crowe comes out with a new movie, and I love Cameron Crowe films, like, Almost Famous isn't easily in my top
Really,
3
you
movies.
liked Aloha?
Some Cameron Crowe films, and I specify Almost Famous. But
Okay.
anyway, I would watch a Cameron Crowe trailer, for example,
Yeah, definitely.
as a completely random example,
Definitely.
and that might, you know, pique my interest more than I was prior to seeing the trailer. But something like this, I know I'm going to see Rogue One. There's no doubt in hell that I will be there first day, first show.
Right.
So,
So what did you
while
find?
while we do dissect the Marvel trailers and we looked at the Civil War thing and spent an entire episode just talking about 2 minutes of footage that we saw,
Right.
I'm incredibly conflicted as to how much thought I want to put into these
So yeah,
Star Wars trailers that'll come.
okay,
'Cause,
no,
like, this
I see.
is
I
the
see
one
what.
thing I want to leave it
Yeah, but it's
just for myself. I just want
I
to leave
know,
it
man.
untouched
But
in my
it's
head.
difficult 'cause-
I want to not think about it.
because you kind of now run a network which is for
Yeah,
nerds, and
exactly.
Star Wars is probably the biggest draw
Right.
for a general audience, I'd
Yeah.
say. So you can't avoid it anymore. Now this is actually your job.
So I think
You're a professional nerd,
with,
Jishnu.
with our notatorials and any kind of write-ups that we do and any articles we put up,
Mm-hmm.
I will have nothing to do with those, definitely, because I don't want to put in any more, like even one more drop of
But speculation is
effort
so
into
much
this.
fun.
Depends on what you're talking about. So I love speculating about everything to do with the MCU and everything to do
Well,
with the DCEU.
remember how we spoke about The Force Awakens before it came out, and that was so much fun. I
And
enjoyed
that was great because everybody was flying completely blind. Now with Rogue One, we have a lot more, you know, pieces to this puzzle. In
For
front of us.
example, somebody just put out a theory saying that Jin Ursa
Yeah.
is Rey's mom.
Right.
I was like,
And so
wow.
it's like,
and she shot that down though. She
I-
shut it down. She's like, no.
Even though we speculated about Force Awakens a little bit, it was completely stabbing in the dark.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
now we actually could, if we did, put our heads together and like really try to put the facts together and
Fair enough.
evidence of this and that.
Did you like the
I'm
trailer,
sure
though?
We could. Of course. I mean,
It was amazing.
It was beautiful.
It was so
but
good. It was like the show Rebels Come to
I
Life. though.
saw it once and
Yeah.
I'm done with it. I don't want to see
You
it
saw
again.
You saw Rogue once. Okay,
I
sorry.
see what you did there. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That was great.
So that's my thoughts on Rogue One. I choose to not have many.
So I'm going to tell you exactly
trying
what I
really
think
hard
about the
not to.
Rogue One trailer. Okay, since
Choose your words very carefully.
nothing. I just
put nothing into my brain.
I really liked it. I think there are a couple of elements which we haven't seen at all in the Star Wars universe, like that ninja guy, the samurai guy, who's dressed in red and he has like kind of a like a Donatello type
I
stick.
love that. He's
That
my
was
favorite.
amazing,
That was
dude.
cool.
And I just love that they're going even closer to like the Japanese.
Yeah, I love that he
roots
was.
that they have. The Star Wars.
I
is
love that he
heavily
was
based
of
in.
Asian ethnicity
Yeah,
as well. Like,
yeah.
I like that it's not just a bunch of white people.
It's gonna be great. I
who are
think
ninjas anymore.
it looks excellent. It looks exactly like a Rebels kind of movie version.
Yeah.
So yeah, really excited about that.
Yeah.
Cool. So that was one thing that happened. We're going to talk about it obviously when we get closer to the movie. Or at least I will. I don't know about
Yeah.
Jishnu. Okay.
I might sit that.
What about the other
podcast
trailer
out.
that came out? The Suicide Squad trailer.
Also not seen it.
Didn't see it. Okay. Again,
And this, I'll tell you why. This is a completely different reason than with Star Wars. It's because of everything we had to say about Dawn of Justice and how I thought that had I not seen those trailers, then those surprises, which I thought were genuinely good surprises, could have surprised me, and then I would have enjoyed that
but
movie
you
a
know
lot
what
more.
the problem with the Dawn of Justice trailers was? That they had entire chunks of like scenes in them, and not
Right.
just like
Yeah.
the.
I don't want
vignettes
to
of
know.
them.
I don't want to really.
Yeah, fair enough. It's
You
like
know?
it's not like Suicide Squad.
I really
is-
like the Bohemian Rhapsody one. I like the one
That was a
before
great
that as
trailer.
well.
And that's enough. I gotta say,
it's like I've
it's
seen
enough.
two. I don't need to see three trailers.
When is the movie out?
Very, very soon. Like in
Okay.
a matter of like
A month? Is
a
it?
month or two, right? It's June.
Okay.
May, June, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
need some more time for Batman versus. Actually, it's done. Batman vs Superman is done.
Yeah, it's
they had
done.
the biggest drop in.
Over 60%.
Yeah, some 81% or something.
the
That's
second
more
weekend.
than Wolverine Origins, by the way.
Oh, damn.
So that's when you're in trouble.
Yeah.
X-Men Origins,
Yeah.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's move on. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to talk about The Jungle Book.
Hi, I'm Amit Gurbaksani.
I'm Purva Mehra.
And I'm Pranoti Datta, and we're from a city website called the Daily Pow, and we have a new podcast called The Powcast. So you can listen to us on the IndusVox SoundCloud page, as well as iTunes, Stitcher, and TuneIn.
Hello again.
And we're back on the Geek Food Podcast.
We never go anywhere.
We never go anywhere. We literally sit here and then we say, should we start recording again? And then there's a nod from the other side. And then we go. We're talking about The Jungle Book. Jishnu, when was the first time you ever saw The Jungle Book?
I
man?
saw The Jungle Book so long ago that I didn't remember a damn thing.
Okay.
My parents tell me that I've seen it, so I'm guessing I saw it before the age of
Disturbed
3.
childhood. You didn't watch The Jungle Book properly?
I knew
Jishnu?
the songs. I knew the songs. They were in my head. I had vague recollection of like the imagery of it, but I couldn't tell you any beats of the movie if
Okay.
my life depended on it.
Right.
So, prior to seeing the movie, which I saw literally just a few hours ago this morning,
So did I, by the way.
9 a.m. showing. That's been a long time since I've done that. So I saw it this morning, and 2 days ago I saw the cartoon,
The animated film, yeah.
for the first time in like 24, 23 years.
You're more than 23 years old? I'm just trying to
It's been
establish
known
that
to
you're
happen.
old.
It's been known to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel a little conflicted by much because of the fact that I just saw the cartoon.
Okay.
And so I couldn't help but compare every single detail because it was so fresh in my head.
but it's funny
And
you
I was
say that,
watching it,
yeah.
and I watched it unlike how a kid would watch The Jungle Book. I was watching it for with a critical analysis in my head.
Okay.
So knowing that I was going to be talking about, I was watching this whole thing
That's
and looking
good,
at every
though.
little thing, which is
good.
good.
Because I did the
And
complete
still
opposite.
and I still loved it. I absolutely loved the cartoon. It was great. It was a great breath of fresh air seeing that kind of style of storytelling again. Because like 67, I mean, like a lot of the cartoon struck me very much like the old Tom and Jerry kind of storytelling.
Yeah,
which,
so it was actually the same. They're contemporaries at the same time.
they very much so, yeah. And so, just the fact that it was a Sherman Brothers score,
yeah.
the whole thing,
So
the
good.
music was so prominent in how it would tell the jokes, it would move the beats along, everything
Yeah.
was so based on the music, and then they would have these moments where there was no music at all, and that was very, very striking.
Yeah.
And there would be moments, there were very few moments like that, and the ones that were like such were when you have Bagheera and Baloo having that heart-to-heart.
That
Like,
heart-to-heart.
do we, don't we, and that was like really intense.
And
then
better
again,
than the movie, by the way.
far better.
Far better,
And then
yeah.
when Baloo almost dies, again, no music there, and it's just the sound of rain,
Yeah.
which I thought was a very odd thought that jumped my head. The most recent time that I can think of that I saw a moment on screen, on film, that did the exact same move, where in which something really bad happens,
Right.
and it's just the diegetic sound of rain falling or water dripping and stuff, where your hero is fallen,
Yeah.
is the Bane versus Batman fight. When Bane and Batman fight,
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
hear the rain, and there's just like you just hear the.
This
thuds.
is when he breaks his back. you're
Yes,
saying.
when he breaks his
Yeah,
back. That
yeah.
that whole fight sequence,
Right.
there's no music. It's
Oh,
just the sound of rain
interesting.
falling in that sewer. And this was the exact same thing. The Bagheera,
Wow. Okay, cool.
Bagheera, Baloo, and Shere Khan fight. Once he strikes Baloo down, you just see him lying there, and Mowgli's like, "Meh, what happened?" It's just a little kid crying.
I can't think of anything. Oh, Road to Perdition, probably.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes,
Been a
also.
while since I've seen that as well.
Yeah,
Damn,
great
that's a good movie. Yeah. So there was. I just couldn't help but like compare every minuscule detail, which I know was like a fault of my own because like I was overanalyzing both movies as I was watching it. I did love the cartoon.
Yeah.
The live action, I'm a little torn. There was some
Okay.
things that I had loved. There were definitely some
Right,
things that I
right,
loved,
right.
but I was a little conflicted.
Oh man, I loved it, dude.
Yeah?
I totally love. I mean, like, so Jungle Book, I've seen like a million times as a kid. I remember the VHS tape cover was like tearing really badly because you used to keep playing it back, and I got it from as a gift and stuff. So it was really great, and it's still really fresh. Like I know all the, even like when I watched the animated film before I watched so I watched the movie once at 8:30 a.m. Jishnu, by the way, even earlier. I watched it I think on Friday, and then on Saturday, and then I watched it again last night in IMAX. And before that, I watched the animated film again, and I remembered like so many lines. I remembered so many things about it, like the vultures being modeled after the Beatles and stuff like that. So good. I mean, obviously, I missed a lot of those pop culture kind
I missed
of
a lot
references.
of the tone of it. I missed a whole lot of those tone things.
Yeah, but I mean, like, and so many of the lines, I mean, obviously the great Phil Harris as Baloo, man, nothing can touch that. Not even Bill Murray, I gotta say. He didn't live up to it. I'd say Ben Kingsley was perfect as Bagheera because
he sounded very much like the original.
like Sebastian Cabot. Yeah. He sounds exactly like him. I think Christopher Walken also was a good choice for Louis in the sense that he was like. So King Louis, and this is what I did a little bit of research on to find out whether this is true, is that I always wondered whether there was a Louis in the original like Rudyard Kipling book, and I just wanted to know whether then they just took the name and did like a reference to it, and they were going to get Louis Armstrong obviously to do the voice first, but then they got another jazz artist called Louis Prima, who's an Italian white guy who was obviously a great, and he's so good in the animated film.
Oh, it's
and
awesome,
and that's how they named him Louis, and he became King Louis, and they've just taken that name forward into. So I am reading the book right now. I just bought it this morning to try reading it, but I've not reached any particular part where the leader of the monkeys are Louis or anything like that. But it's great, man. Like there were so many things from the cartoon which I loved. Obviously, Kaa is so great in the cartoon. In the movie, he was not really.
Yeah.
First of all, he's played by Scarlett Johansson, which was I felt like just a thing they wanted to do. Like they didn't think about how that would fit in the story pretty much.
Yeah,
it was just like
her only function was to provide a flashback, which
fair enough, but like
I feel like
that's true actually.
Which wasn't necessary. I mean, like you could have.
So this is what I felt.
Put that in any other way.
So having read a little bit more of the book so far, I've found that they've referenced a lot more from the book than the animated film.
I would
has.
imagine.
Yeah. Like things like, Raksha, his mother, and Akela, who's actually Akela because he's the lone wolf. I swear.
Is that how it's spelled?
That's Akela.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, and so he's Akela.
Akela.
She's called Raksha because when she gets all badass, she becomes they name her like a Rakshas. Basically, she becomes like a demon, which is so she's like a badass. So I think that there's a lot of these names which are obviously Baloo, Buggy. By the way, Mowgli is the frog. By the way, I didn't know. I thought Mendak was frog, but in the book he's always referred to as Mowgli the frog and that's how they name him Mowgli, and also.
He's named after a frog.
I know the Hindi word for
frog is Mowgli?
I didn't know that.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway,
does he walk like a frog? I mean,
I have no idea. I have no idea why they chose that. But I believe that Rudyard Kipling's daughter's name was also Mowgli. Like, so that's how he named it. And
where's he from?
He was from the UK.
Okay.
But his first 6 years of his life were in India.
Sure.
And then he went back to the UK and then he studied and then he came back to work for like 6.5 years, which is when he did most of his research while he was in India. This is all in like early turn of the century, so like
Sure.
1900s, like very, very early.
Right.
And then like he went back to Vermont in the States where he lived out, and his daughter passed away. I mean, he used to write these stories for his daughter, and that's how they became really, really famous as children's stories, and
Yeah.
so on and so
So
forth.
wait, when you say you're reading the book, because
Yeah.
it says everywhere it's based on the books plural by Rudyard
So,
Kipling. So I mean, is this
there are two books. There's the Jungle Book and the Second Jungle Book, and then it's
just
a
called
collection.
Jungle Book 2? That's it?
No, it's the Second
Oh, the
Jungle
Second
Book,
Jungle
and it's basically like they're a collection of stories, like, and those stories kind of are mostly about Mowgli, and then there's some about like other characters and stuff like that, and they've taken all the beats from like different stories, like the stuff with Colonel Hathi. Is just Hathi obviously in the books,
Yeah.
but they've taken those, and then so what they did was they weaved it into a story, and that story was originally really, really dark, and Walt Disney said this is too dark. The guy even who was writing it, Bill Peet, he was fired. The people who were doing the music also, this guy named Terry Gilkyson, he was also like removed because his score was too dark, and so that's when they got the Sherman Brothers on, and they reworked it to make it much more obviously
Sure,
happy and
sure.
family friendly.
Yeah.
But the only song that was kept was Bare Necessities. So that was like the one.
Wait, so the Bare Necessities was in the dark one?
Yeah, that was the dark one.
Alright, cool.
and that was the one that obviously, I mean, it formed such a big part of the score
Of
of,
course.
this film also,
Yeah,
which was
yeah.
great. I love the score of this film. It was quite nice that they used that as the overture and stuff like that. So yeah, I really like that. It's the other thing which I really found after watching the cartoon after so long, and it was that how inspired the Lion King is from the Jungle Book. It's crazy,
Sure,
man.
yeah.
Like a lot
It was
of
like 30
the-
years prior.
Yeah, and a lot of the ways the Scar is
Scar looks exactly like Bagheera. Shere Khan.
like Shere Khan
The face,
mixed with Bagheera.
the
Yeah,
drawing
yeah.
is exactly the same.
The way they move,
the snout.
Yeah, even this,
Yeah.
they could have designed them any other way, but
Sure.
it looks
Yeah,
so
yeah.
reminiscent of the Jungle
Yeah,
Book.
yeah, yeah.
And there are lots of beats in the movie which just remind me of
Yeah, the wildebeests
The
and
wildebeest,
everything.
yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
The fact that Shere Khan kind of falls into the fire,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
much like Scar.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there was a lot of moments that just remind me so much of Lion King, which makes me feel like this is what's happening with Disney right now. They're adapting all their movies into like these live action features. Lion King is like almost an inevitability. Like it's
sure.
gonna happen. Like
I'm sure it will.
and
Yeah,
I can't even imagine what that's gonna be like for so many kids and stuff.
I mean, they've already
Like,
done the musical to a
Julie
roaring
Taymor.
success,
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
an insane success.
I wonder
So,
what they would make it. Would they make it like
have you
this?
Have you seen the musical?
I haven't seen it, but like, okay,
And
so
it's-
my school did like a version of it. Okay,
no,
so no, and it was modeled after the Julie Taymor
Sure.
thing. So we built all the sets and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
props.
yeah,
and
yeah.
Obviously, nothing like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, obviously, I've seen a lot of clips. I've seen a
So
lot of
I've seen.
footage.
So I saw it on the West End, and it's a whole other.
It's another thing, yeah.
It's the only similarity to the actual movie that the musical has is the music. A little bit because they've added, a
They
whole lot of
added,
elements
obviously,
to it.
yeah, a lot of
and the
new
story
songs,
and the
yeah.
story is roughly similar. But I mean,
No, the
what do you call
story
it?
is the same. The story is exactly the same.
elements, or not the elements. How do I put it? The method with which they tell the story.
I think the dramatic element is
the way
really heightened.
the
in
way in which they use
musical.
lighting and their
Yeah.
prop design and costume
Definitely.
design, like something as simple as the Stampede is
Yeah.
literally just at least when I saw it, it was just one piece, this one circular rotary wheel,
Right.
basically like a long wheel it seemed like it was about maybe like 20 feet wide,
Right.
and just these two guys came on either side and just turned this like clogs on
Yeah,
either side,
yeah.
and then they had three antelope.
Which just kind of
cutouts. Like three silhouettes of antelopes, and they just projected a light, and then they would just spin it really quickly.
I think we did something similar. Yeah.
Two guys would just spin it really quickly, and then
So
the
it looks
entire stage would just like get engulfed in shadow of like
Wow.
antelopes running, and then you just have one dude in a lion costume standing there screaming, ah!
Yeah.
And then
So
with just the right lighting,
yeah.
it looked insane. And
Amazing.
I felt, at no moment did I feel like I was watching the movie again.
Yeah.
I was watching a completely different thing altogether.
And just like the prop work with the masks, so they make sure that you can see the facial expressions of all these actors, but they also have the heads of like
Yeah.
Mufasa and so. I mean, like
Yeah.
when they fight, they come forward and things like
It's
crazy
it's-
stuff.
It's a whole other art form.
So
that
I
they've just
like
done
I have
on
no
it.
idea how they might do the Lion King, whether they're going to do it CGI. I mean, obviously they have to do it
Probably.
CGI, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to use this style particularly. So here's the other thing that I know is that the Jungle Book this is not the only adaptation which is going to happen. There's another one which Andy Serkis is writing and directing, and he's also playing Baloo. It's completely motion capture, and let me just tell you the cast. It's Benedict Cumberbatch as Sher Khan. It's got, oh man, I just took a screenshot of it, and this is an actual thing which is going to happen.
So is this a movie?
This is a movie which is going to happen, I think, which is coming out next year, if I'm not mistaken.
What's it called? It's obviously
called,
not just another remake. It's got to be like a.
So I don't know how it
is
figures
it an
because
origin
I don't
story?
know.
Please tell me it's a reboot. Please tell me it's like a gritty origin story reboot.
It'll probably be darker because they'd want to separate it from the Disney version.
Yeah.
But here, let me just tell you the cast, okay? It's just called Jungle Book. And Steve Kloves, who's obviously behind all the Harry Potter films, he was a screenwriter for all of it. Andy Serkis is directing. And, okay, here you go. Benedict Cumberbatch as Sher Khan, Christian Bale as Bagheera, Kate Blanchett as Kaa, Naomi Harris as Raksha, Tom Hollander as Tabaki, who's actually a character from the book, who's a jackal, who's just not there. Eddie Marzan as Papa Wolf, Peter Mullen as Akila, and Rohan Chand as Mowgli, some probably new Neil Sethi type of a kid who's playing that. That's crazy, right? That cast.
So what is that about?
So it's going to be the Jungle Book, and it's based on the book. So I don't know what the rights situation of the Jungle Book is. I don't know if it resides with Disney or whether they've just. I think the rights to the animated film reside obviously with Disney because it's their own film.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that works because they're just. I think it's like public domain.
So it's got to be a
different.
It's got to be a different story. It's got to be a different thing.
It won't be a different story, but it'll be closer to the books than I think.
It makes zero sense for them to make.
Like for example, it won't have the music obviously because the music is completely owned by Disney. It won't have any of the. It won't have like Colonel Hathi or something like that. I mean,
it can't be the exact
let me put it
same
this
story.
way. It won't have King Louis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it can't be the story of.
It'll be based
Mowgli.
on the stories.
It can't be the story of Mowgli growing up as a kid
but
in the jungle.
But that's exactly what the stories are about.
And then leaving.
So the story
and then
is
running from Sher Khan.
That's the whole story. That's the whole Jungle Book
When
story.
is this coming out?
It's apparently next year or next year, yeah.
Like nobody asked for this. Why would they make two back to back?
I think it's because Andy Serkis is probably this is his pet project. This is probably his directorial debut. So I don't know.
It'd be fine-ish if they like made a sort of a standalone thing of like here's Baloo's running. Continuing adventures because he's
Baloo's
a lovable
spin-off
guy.
film.
Yeah, Baloo, basically. I mean, like, that's the only other thing I could
Baloo's
see
spin-off
coming out
film
of
is
this.
actually Tailspin, but we won't get into that. But, but yeah, right? That was crazy, by the way. Tailspin is literally the Jungle Book characters. And, yeah, man. I just found that funny.
But speaking of, the cartoon with this one and King Louis and all that whatnot, the one thing that I really did miss a lot was, particularly Colonel Hathi. Particularly Colonel Hathi and the tone and the tonality of King Louis. So I was happy with the casting for the most part, pretty much all around the board, except Scarlett Johansson. But then again,
that was a cancel.
Just the way in which that car was dealt with, I thought was kind of random.
Yeah,
so
it was cool. It was great to look at.
It was very cool.
Visually, this movie. Let's not go
you
there.
Can't even touch it.
It's amazing. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't have a problem with Scarlett Johansson as much as I had a problem with the way in which they dealt with Kaa and like the purpose of Kaa. But that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's true.
What I'm getting at is with King Louis and Christopher Walken, for example. So I think seeing Christopher Walken's name in the credits makes everybody laugh, and it's cool, and it's gonna put butts in seats.
It's like putting Nicolas Cage in anything.
Exactly. People will pay money to see that. So people did, and they will, and they'll continue to do so.
Yeah.
And that's fine and all good and makes complete business sense. But again, I mean, I don't know. I haven't read the book, so maybe the book is different. But the King Louis that I was looking forward to seeing was
the jazz musician.
Was like basically this drugged out, almost on psychedelics kind of jazz guy that was just all aloof and whatnot, and like his being king was far more comical than powerful, and so this like grittiness of it.
They had to make it a level of not darker, but they had to make it more realistic. So this is what I loved. Okay, about the movies that they still set it within that little those ruins of that fort.
Yeah.
And it's exactly like the cartoon, but they've done it like that's why I always felt like that's. I mean, we differ in opinion, but like I feel like it was well adapted in the sense that they've taken elements from the animated movie and tried to capture it differently, and they did a decent job of it. Like I didn't like Baloo as much as obviously I love the because there was something more of him taking advantage of Mowgli rather than him being like
he was just alright. He didn't like really.
That's another thing. By the way,
really hook me.
Lion King is so inspired by, but the Hakuna Matata is pretty much bare necessities. Yeah. So like that. I mean, in the books which I've just started reading, and in the original animated film, Baloo is more like a philosopher, and he just has this, he's like this hippie kind of philosopher, and he's just like, this is a way of life.
And in
in this movie, he seems like he just wants to take advantage of Mowgli.
Right. In the cartoon, Bagheera calls him that bum, bum of the jungle, who's basically this guy that like doesn't do anything. And just like, I'm here to get get high off eating berries and stuff,
Yeah,
basically, right?
Yeah,
and then
pretty
just do whatever the hell I want to do. And
Yeah,
hence you'll be a bad influence on Mowgli, but your
Exactly,
intention,
yeah.
he never questions his intentions. He only just questions the way in which she's like, listen, you're going to bring him up as a completely, good for nothing, who's just going to,
Yeah.
not be of any use to anybody because he's just going to...
And then one scene where Bagheera and Baloo are talking in the cartoon, I remember,
Yeah.
and he's just like, you don't understand, Shere Khan is coming after this guy, you
Yeah.
have to tell him.
Yeah.
It's like, this is going to be terrible. And then he tries really hard to explain it to him, but then
Yeah.
he finally just says, no man, you can't stay
Yeah.
here. And that's when Mowgli kind of runs away from him
Yeah,
as well,
yeah.
and into the hands of King Louis.
Yeah.
But in the movie, he's like, okay, cool, you have to tell him it's morning now, go tell him. And he's like,
Yeah.
I don't want you here.
Yeah, that
It
was
was just like-
there were a lot of beats
it was
that they changed
that-
completely, 100%.
Yeah, it
turned
didn't seem
around,
like
did a
as
total 180.
devastating to Baloo as it was in
Yeah.
the cartoon.
Because Mowgli says at some point in the live action, Mowgli says, "But aren't we pals? Why you telling me to go?"
Yeah.
Baloo at no
It's like,
point,
I didn't. Yeah.
at no point did he express any kind of adoration for the guy. And so when in his response to "Aren't we pals?" like, "No, I don't like you. You just got me my honey. Now get
Yeah.
out of here." It's like, wait,
But obviously he's doing it because he wants to be as blunt as possible.
Sure,
But
yeah.
I feel like it could have been done better. Like
'cause
the cartoon.
like
yeah,
the
pretty
line,
much.
the line that I loved in the cartoon was Baloo saying. After he has a talk with Bagheera and Bagheera convinces him to get him down to go away, he says, "Oh, how did Bagheera put it? Listen, you wouldn't
marry a panther,
you
would
wouldn't
you?
marry a panther, would you?"
Yeah, I love
that's
it.
that kind of
That
that's
is
the kind
great.
of likability that I missed about Baloo.
And this is, man, that's some of the things that you can do only in the cartoon, though
Yeah.
you can't do in the movie. Like, one of my favorite scenes is when... So they try to have to make a diversion to kind of get Mowgli out of King Louis's, kingdom.
Oh,
right?
the cross-dressing. Yeah,
he
yeah,
dresses
okay.
up as a monk.
Well,
and I
so-
was like, I would love to see that,
So
but obviously it's not
you can't see
possible.
that. So that I thought Bill Murray
That is-
being Bill Murray, I feel like the conversation that he
He
did
has
had
with-
with Louis was, I feel like it was probably just Jon Favreau being like, "Okay, Bill,
Just do it.
say
Just-
some,
just
say
say
some
whatever
stuff,
you want."
and yeah, we'll be fine."
Yeah.
And that's true. I think it was
Yeah,
fine. I mean,
Bill Murray definitely is Bill Murray.
he just
as
riffed.
Baloo, yeah.
He just riffed on it. He's like, "So I'm gonna talk to an ape." Okay, cool.
He seemingly riffed throughout this movie,
Yeah.
though, which works a little bit.
I mean,
but-
did you? There was this tiny little interview snippet that I saw of Favreau talking, I think Conan, about getting Bill Murray onto the thing. Where he
Right.
said, "This makes complete sense. I know very little about Bill Murray, but it makes complete sense that he said something like, your agent can't call Bill Murray's agent and then get a audition with him or
Yeah.
get an interview with him or get anything with him. You have to even Jon Favreau has to go out of his way
to call-
to go to Bill Murray. So apparently,
yeah?
Jon Favreau, Neil said he went to Bill Murray's farm or wherever the hell Bill Murray
His
lives.
farm. Of course he
Of
does.
course,
Of course
some
he does.
random.
Yeah,
Maybe it
something
wasn't a
random.
farm, but it was some
Where
he
he's
doesn't live in.
drinking some Suntory.
He doesn't live in the. He doesn't live amongst the people. He lives amongst the Bill Murrays of the world.
Of course he
wherever
does.
the hell they are. So apparently he just went to his house and he had to just drop it on him then and there, and read him the script then and there and do it all very much in the heat of the moment. He couldn't.
Yeah.
So
I've heard many stories of a lot of actors are like that, but
Yeah.
it's good. I mean, it makes
So-
it worthwhile for the ones which they do.
So the
pick.
other thing that I really missed, like I said, was the Colonel Hathi thing, and simply because in this in the live action one, this whole chanting that wolf propaganda stuff, that as he called it
From the book.
I
Yeah, apparently.
believe it.
It's kind of like from the book, yeah.
in the
Wolf
cartoon,
propaganda, yeah.
it is just a 30-second aside that happens at the very beginning of the film when they're all together and Bagheera hears the conversation
And he
that they
says,
have, and he
"I'm gonna
says,
take him."
I'm going to take him away." Right?
Yeah.
So that is where that seed gets planted subtly, just one line, boom, it's taken care of and done. Now, you had Colonel Hathi and all the elephants in the cartoons to provide that militaristic, we unite, we stick together, family ties are strong, and they're very
Yeah,
important.
yeah.
That's the moral grounding of that whole thing of you stay with the pack,
Yeah,
you stay together.
fair
That's what
enough.
Colonel Hathi provided. If not, forget the comical elements.
there's plenty comical element, and the
So
whole fact that
apart from the comical elements, I mean the fact that you had Colonel Hathi and his wife and the kid.
Yeah,
all-
Winifred.
Yeah, you had all three of them providing this sort of side story,
Yeah.
which provided that element of, look guys, family matters and you need to stick together and that
Right,
whole thing.
right.
So in this one, the fact that was missing and all you had was this chant that they did at least 20 times over.
Yeah.
Halfway through, I was like, all right, not this again. And so I'm glad at some point that somebody that I think Bagheera said that's propaganda, or Baloo said
Baloo said it, yeah,
it's
that's propaganda.
So I'm glad that had happened. But again, it's just just the tone of it that I just missed. The lightheartedness is really what I was a little bummed to see.
They made it slightly, and you know what? It's gonna get even darker if
I'm sure
Andy
it is.
Serkis is.
Yeah, I'm
It's
sure
gonna be
get
like
darker,
he's basically he's gonna be Smaug
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
Benedict.
So I can't. I really. I mean, I'm not. I
Here's the other
I
thing,
don't mean
though.
to hate on this because I know that I can't hate on this because I completely understand
Yeah.
that movie was made in '67 when it was the whimsy of seeing cartoons come to life, and so like that was a whole. It was part of that was the time to make
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
definitely.
Right now, everything is gritty and everything needs to be hyper real because that's what kids expect. I mean, like a kid that watches Harry Potter for the first time will see nearly headless Nick genuinely take his head off of his shoulders, and you'll see a guy holding his head in his hands.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for the day that Aladdin happens, and then you see the genie doing the same thing, and he's going to go from a lovable blue giant, and then when he morphs into one of the 50 different characters that he morphs into, one of them is actually going to be genuinely scary.
Yeah,
So and that's
yeah, I
just the
agree.
time that
That's
we're
the
in.
time we're in, I
So,
suppose. But having said
I
that,
just miss it knowing
to,
that you can't
to
do
just
that.
defend the movie, I think this was still way lighter than a lot of things that do come out. Like I still think
A lot lighter than a lot of remakes, you mean?
not remakes, any movie that is supposedly aimed or targeted at kids, I think it was still fine. Like there was nothing in this movie. This is so funny though. Okay, so you know Pahlaj Nilani, our best friend in the censor board, he gave this movie a UA certificate, and everyone was in a big hue and cry and
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, why is it not you?" And you know, everyone can watch this. And I felt like he said, "Oh, there's some genuinely scary moments with the 3D that happens," and obviously everyone took his case. And it was so funny. I went with Malika last night for this movie. And obviously she works at IBM here. And just in the middle, you know when Bagheera's in like the field and like he's like
Get down.
He's like, get down. And
And
then
then
she like screamed.
There are some
And,
like,
and I was like, yeah,
there are
maybe
some like
there are
jump
some
scare
actual,
moments.
there are some
yeah,
scary
yeah,
moments.
yeah.
So whatever he said wasn't wrong.
No, absolutely.
And the other thing was about, and this, I'm no way usually defending Pahlaj Nilani. I think
Sure.
we all have to take this, but we have to also see the reality of it.
Yeah.
Is that which kid will go for this movie by himself also? If you're going to go with parents, you're most probably going to go with parents. Does UA mean a specific age? Like, does it mean like till 18? Because that's terrible.
I really don't know.
Yeah, I hope it's not. Because in that case, yeah, then the certification is stupid. But
It's
his
just-
his argument
I
for
always
it
thought
is
UA was
fair.
PG-13. I
Yeah,
associate
that's what I
PG-13
thought.
with
Yeah,
UA.
exactly.
Like,
And if it is, then yeah, kids below 13, well, I mean, kids below 13 are going for movies by themselves? I don't know. Are they?
below 13?
For
I don't think
Jungle
so.
Book?
I don't think so.
So then what's the difference between you and UA? I don't understand. Anyway.
That's a question for our friend.
Yeah, so...
But no, I agree that this should have been a UA thing because there were some.
I don't know.
genuinely,
Depending
like,
on if it's till
jumpy-
18 and you have to watch it with your parents, if you're
No,
under
no,
18,
no.
then that is
Yes, it's not a-
ridiculous.
it's-
But otherwise,
18
yeah,
is adult,
there are
it's not an
definitely
adult movie, it's
you know, jump up scare moments. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back, talk a little bit more about Jungle Book, talk a little about adaptations, and then talk about the future. I don't know what it is. We will talk about it.
Whose future?
The Disney, sure, Disney.
Why not?
You can listen to Cyrus Says from our apps on iOS, Android, or our website, cyrussays.in. You can also listen to services like iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, or your favorite podcasting softwares. It's cyrussays.in.
We're back on the Geek Fruit Podcast. Interesting thought, which I really wanted to talk about. So, I always thought that this movie came out very, very close to when the book came out. And the book is why, he was called, so-and-so people. I had no idea about when the book was written. I had no idea about it until I obviously started reading and did my research on Rudyard Kipling. And it turns out that, so obviously there's a lot of great pop culture references in it, like, obviously the Beatles, who were supposed to be in it, by the way, but then John Lennon was just like, cancel. I don't want to do this, because John Lennon just being John Lennon.
Sure.
And so obviously they made that whole song and to kind of tribute them. I always thought that in this movie they would update the reference. Imagine if they did like a...
Bieber or some crap,
they'd probably do like a One Direction or something, but everyone would have hated that. But I'm glad. I mean, I'm kind of sad that we didn't have. Is that the difference between the old movie and this movie?
I was fine without the pop culture stuff. That's cool. It was just the whimsy. There was no. It didn't feel like a Disney movie to me.
Yeah.
That was just the only thing. I'm not saying it was a
But
bad
the live
movie.
action has to separate
It
itself.
wasn't. No,
Because
I don't
otherwise,
think so.
what else will it be? You know,
It
like
can be a Disney. You can have the whimsy and still be a live action movie. There are
are
plenty
they?
of whimsical live
What are
action
the other movies that have come? I think Cinderella has come out as a live action.
Snow White.
Snow White. No, that's not Disney though. There's a sequel that's just come out called The Huntsman, which is a sequel to Snow White and the Huntsman.
And the Huntsman. Those
Yeah.
are not Disney.
The Huntsman has his own spin-off film.
Yeah.
With Chris Hemsworth.
Like we said,
AKA
the Baloo
Thor.
spin-off is bound. Is bound to happen. Baloo
Yeah.
or
so it was so
whoever is a
funny. We were
younger
talking about this.
cast member.
Instead of Bill Murray, I always wanted John Goodman to be Baloo
Yeah.
because like he is Baloo in real life
Sure,
also.
absolutely.
And we just found out that he actually voiced Baloo
in Jungle Book 2. Yeah.
in Jungle Book 2, which is I don't know if it's based on the second Jungle Book. It probably is. It must be like so.
But it did not do well.
Obviously,
Much like-
because it was
much like
straight to
all-
it was straight to DVD, man.
I don't know if there's a single. I don't know if there's a single Disney sequel, Disney original cartoon sequel that has
Yeah.
done well. Because there's a Lion King 1.5.
There's a Lion King 2, yeah.
which both were
So
crap.
Lion King 2 is not bad actually. It's not
I saw
terrible.
I saw Lion King 2 when I was 8 years old. Shortly after seeing Lion King 1, of course, I
Yeah.
loved Lion King 1. It's
Lion
arguably
King,
my favorite.
The Lion King. That's
So,
it.
Lion King 1.5. I forget if it was 1.5.
1.5
or 2.
is a Timon and Pumbaa film.
No, because when I saw 2, Simba's Pride. No,
Simba's Pride, yeah.
Simba's Pride. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that one. At the age of 8.
Where basically
at
his
the age of
daughter
8,
and
I was old
Scar's-
enough to realize how crap that was. If you can't impress an 8-year-old with,
I'll tell you
with a
why.
Disney
It's
movie, you know
maybe
you made a
because
bad
you were
movie.
too attached to this. And yeah, fair enough. It's not a good movie, but like it's like Grease too. You know, we don't really
Yeah,
like talk
we
about.
don't
it.
even talk about it.
But
I don't even talk about Grease.
Yeah, what you should
I
more
don't
than
talk-
anybody else, Danny Zuko.
Hey, like
We'll
I said,
talk
I
about
don't
this.
talk about Grease. We don't talk about Grease.
First rule of
Let's
Geek Food Podcast: we don't talk about Grease. Okay, no, but you know, like the Lion King. So the Lion King is based, like roughly based on Hamlet, and the Lion King 2 is based on Romeo and Juliet, and I thought that was cool, and it was
That's great. I love their intentions. The product is still atrocious. I
It
don't
was
care
nice.
what your intentions are.
It was not
If you make a
terrible.
bad movie, you make a bad movie.
It's just that, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes you can't see a sequel to something that you love so very much. And it's something that is timeless. And then done because, you know, we want to make a sequel to this timeless
But then you can
classic.
do it. I mean, like, it can happen. Like Toy
Toy Story.
3.
I knew you
love
were
it.
gonna talk
You know,
about Toy
like,
Story. Yeah, that's true.
I think it's the ultimate answer to,
Fair
like,
enough.
can the sequel
fair
be
enough.
better?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Other thing, we just found out Rudyard Kipling was born in Bombay.
Yeah.
That's cool. He's a Bombay. I wonder if he was a Burbs guy or a townie.
I don't know if the Burbs existed back then, so I'm going to guess Downey.
Let me say, only the Burbs
Hey,
existed back then, by the
I
way.
think- I know, I
Because
think,
Downey is reclaimed land.
Probably from him. Because he's British. It was probably reclaimed from him. And then after his writing career went down the tubes, he opened up
What was it called? It was called Trombay, if I'm not mistaken, right? There were the 3 islands.
Trombay exists. There was 7.
You know, we should talk to the Daily Power about this. They probably know. In fact, I'm sure I think they did a Jungle Book.
They
thing on
mentioned
it.
Kipling. In that
I
thing.
doubt they got
But yeah.
this deep. Yeah, into it.
No, but I did some research, and I don't know if they mentioned this, but like after he passed away, and then they sold off not sold off, but they
hear this.
let the movie become a thing by giving us the rights for that. They started a little bag company. And
Stop.
they have a monkey as their thing
man.
to pay homage to the movie.
Shut up.
So the Kipling monkey.
Hey, but are
is
you serious
actually
about
from,
that though?
I have no
No,
clue.
I'm not talking about that. But is that
No
a
idea.
possibility?
Let's
That the
start
monkey-
conspiracy theory. I'm going to make a Zeitgeist video on YouTube on the Geek Fruit
The
channel.
conspiracy theory video. Yeah.
We should only do nerdy conspiracies on the Geek Fruit channel.
Oh gosh,
I got a
Nobody
million of
would-
them.
Okay, cool.
Like Tom Hanks is. He does not voice any of the Woody dolls.
Okay,
All the Woody dolls that you can buy, all the action figures.
his
There's
brother.
a snake in my boot.
That's his brother.
Jim. Or something like that.
Yeah, Jim Hanks.
Yeah.
and
So-
he does it for the animated series. But I do have a conspiracy theory about this movie. Okay, and you should hear me out. Okay, it's not a conspiracy theory; it's just a theory. So, there's this movie by Vishal Bharadwaj called Ishqiya. I don't know if you've seen it. It's quite a good one. It's got Vidya Balan and Nasruddin Shah. And there's a song from it called Dil To Bacha Hai Ji, which when I remember hearing it back when the first time it came, it has this motif which goes like and
Wait. One more time?
no, we're good. We can rewind that 30 seconds, right? And that motif always reminded me of the theme from Jungle Book, especially at the end of the animated film when he goes back to the village. There's that, I have to go fetch the
I
water.
love that song. It's so wrong.
And I
It's
always...
so wrong.
And, yeah, it's really
I love
politically
it. I
incorrect,
love
isn't it?
it. I
She's
love
like,
it.
I have to go and cook while my daughter
Yeah.
then will fetch the water.
It's so great.
But you know what?
Father
They
is hunting,
subverted it.
mother is in the kitchen.
They kind of subverted it immediately because then he picks up the
Sure.
the water and
Yeah.
he brings it in.
Yeah.
And Baloo says she did that on purpose.
Yep.
which
Yep.
is cool, I
Which
guess.
is true. That's what I loved about that ending so much more than this one.
Yeah.
Because again, here in the live action one, when he does get a glimpse of the humans,
Yeah, he doesn't feel any.
it's so
it's
dark.
really dark.
He,
They show humans in a terrible, but he's seeing it from the perspective of an animal. So
but I mean, when he sees the girl, he's seeing
Yeah.
it from the perspective of an animal.
he
But
doesn't
it-
see any girl though.
No, in the
animated
one.
Okay, cool.
So I mean, it makes complete sense, even though it's horribly politically incorrect. That song,
Yeah,
that,
it
that,
is.
That they
But it's
sang.
a very
but it makes
siren
it would make
type song.
it is a siren song, and it makes complete sense to me that if you have never seen another one of your kind, and the first kind you see is actually
A
of
girl.
the opposite sex,
Yeah.
of your age range, that
And he's straight.
well, maybe sure,
Yeah.
but it just makes complete sense to me that he would be drawn to that because it's like hormones. What are these?
What
things?
are these things? Yeah.
I've never
No,
experienced
exactly,
this before.
right?
I mean, like he's
But
10
he
years
doesn't
old.
see
He's
that
experiencing
in-
puberty. He sees a girl. He's gonna run to that.
But
And, like,
he's-
I want to know more.
think about
it's
it-
the exact same thing as Tarzan and Jane.
I
Like,
agree, but think about it from the perspective of Mowgli in the movie.
Sure.
The new movie is that he's got a job to do, which is he has to bring the red flower back to the
Right.
because he needs to save
Sure.
his family. He needs
Yeah.
to save his mom and dad.
Yeah.
So he's not really thinking about like he's like bros before hoes. That's what's
and
happening
that's
at
fair
that
enough.
point of time.
That's fair enough. But then, like, they didn't show a single inkling of any kind of empathy for people that look like
not
him.
empathy, but maybe
Or
like
any
interest.
kind of interest,
Yeah.
empathy, any
Intrigue,
feeling.
yeah,
he
yeah,
had
I'd say.
nothing. He had no interest whatsoever in people that looked like him and that sounded like him. Like he's never.
I
Heard
can forgive that.
He's never
I'd-
heard a
I
human
can
voice.
definitely-
I
I can
can't
forgive
forgive that because I mean, like, okay, fine. Let's say he says "bros before hoes" and I have a job to do. He does the job. Fine, well and good. The movie ends. Shere Khan's dead.
Yeah, I
At
didn't-
the
I didn't
end,
like that
He
they-
should at least like
So
say,
here's my
by the way,
theory.
guys, I'm gonna spend a day. Maybe I'll come back.
I'm gonna see you guys.
Just give me 5 minutes. I'm just gonna go look at this other entire species that
BRB.
I've never seen before. Like, just give me like 5 minutes to.
So
like, look
that's
into
what I
this.
didn't like about the ending. I always thought the ending, and they've done it, I feel, because of the success of this movie, they might want to make a sequel.
Of course it
And,
makes.
and that's probably it. But wait, I'll come back to my awesome conspiracy theory. So that was from a movie from Vishal Bharadwaj. So then I always felt like that reminded me so much of that song at the end of the movie. And then it turns out that Vishal Bharadwaj did the music for the Hindi version of this film. And I always feel like maybe there's a connection there. Or I'm sure that movie has been inspiring, obviously, to a couple of generations. I saw this meme on Facebook that says, 2000s kids don't understand why 90s kids are so excited about this movie. And I was like, you mean 90s kids as in like the whole 90s from 1967 till
Yeah.
like the millennium?
You mean the 1900s?
Yeah, Then-
that's
yeah,
far
pretty
more
much,
accurate.
yeah,
The
even
90
more. Yeah.
Anybody born in the 1900s.
A whole
Yeah.
century
Yeah.
of kids. But then I believe it's because a big series here in India. We both didn't grow up in India, I guess. Kind of.
Yeah, we did. I did.
Okay.
Which
so
series?
a big series here in India was the anime series called The Jungle Book, which was also based on Kipling series and drew elements from the
What year was that? Though?
it was in the 90s. It used to come on television here, and like a lot of kids used to watch that. And then there's that song which, you know,
Never heard
Bashub
of
also, who works with us at Geek Food, she kept talking about that song, Jungle Jungle Baat Chali Hai. There you
Nope.
go. So I don't know about
Oh, well.
it, and I haven't really done that much. But I do know of this series, and
Sure.
that's the reason why why people were really, really excited. And that's why I feel like Jungle Book is going to do better here than in most countries. Like if not,
Sure.
leaving
Yeah,
apart
yeah,
like
yeah.
the United States. But yeah, we'll do
I
quite
believe
well
it.
here.
Yeah, I mean, because it's on home turf. So
Yeah,
I mean, like,
and it literally. But this jungle, by the way, it didn't really look Indian at all. It looked quite Amazonian. I don't
yeah,
know.
true.
Isn't that true though?
Yeah.
Especially when they go and visit Car. I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
that looks like South America.
yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't feel that was going to be a thing. But how about all these movies getting readapted? Huh? So Tarzan is going to be a movie. There's a Legend of Tarzan movie coming out. There's
Sure.
Snow White and the Huntsman coming out. There's all these live action. Are we back to the same argument that people are running out of ideas?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with all, like, not only just Disney movies. I mean, like, there's remakes made left, right, and center every day.
Oh, okay, example.
Sherlock,
Oh, it's true.
Star Trek.
Star Trek is
you're
an
resurrect-
unending story.
They're resurrecting Star Wars. I mean, some of them are done amazingly well, but
Yeah,
they
we're
are.
not complaining. I'm not
Yeah,
complaining.
I'm not complaining about Star Wars and
I'm
Star
just
Trek, but
saying,
I'm saying
maybe-
that, yeah, they
maybe
are,
it's
of course,
because-
it's the age of recycling.
Yeah, what a shame.
I mean, there's
In
you
a way,
can't-
because like a lot of good movies don't get the same
Yeah.
kind of
That's why. I mean, that's why
yeah.
it's. Some people say it's the golden age for filmmaking. Some people say that it's like the hardest time to be a filmmaker because people just want safe bets,
Yeah.
which is stuff that's tried and tested and already sold well. So let's just make it again because it's been a while,
Right.
like Jungle Book, and that's why it's hard for somebody with an original screenplay to get in through the front door unless you've already established yourself.
Fair enough.
So yeah.
Wow,
true.
I wonder what Jon Favreau is going to do next. But how about this kid? Did you like Neil Sethi as Mowgli? He was
I
alright.
liked him.
Yeah,
He wasn't bad.
He was a
Yeah.
cute kid.
He was a cute kid.
Yeah, he had that little lisp going for him.
He did.
Yeah.
How old is he?
He must be like 10. He's the only real thing in that whole movie.
Yeah, right.
Apart from the father that is there in the cameo.
Right.
Yeah. But, yeah. And Idris Elba also great. But that's
So
the
good.
difference.
He's
You know,
very good.
like the guy George Sanders who played Sher Khan, if you look at a photograph of George Sanders, he looks like Sher
Yeah.
Khan looks exactly like George Sanders. He's got that very posh,
Yeah.
old school British accent. And like this one, he's so street. He's like pretty much he's Luther from like Idris Elba's Luther in this. Like The Wire. No, well, not The Wire, but like he's so street in this. I found that like kind of cool. And yeah, I think all of them did a pretty decent job.
Yeah.
Especially Lupita Nyong'o.
She did a great job.
Yeah, I teared up for all the scenes where she was just like, you know, you're my son. And I was just like, damn, that's so good. Good. Thank you, 3D glasses, for not.
I was invested in this
Revealing my
one, man. I
tears.
was really invested in this one, hoping, because I was so pleasantly surprised how much I still loved the movie. Because like I said, I'd basically forgotten
Yeah.
the cartoon. So when I saw it again,
Yeah, amazing.
I loved it.
It's
I was
great.
like, this is so
it's
good.
classic.
I was so I teared up with the cartoon when Baloo almost died. Like, I
Yeah,
was
of
like,
course.
as everybody probably did. And so I was really, really hopeful for this one. But at no point, there was really no point that I was like too emotionally invested in it, because I was just, I mean,
enough. But
I know I
for
shot,
me, it was just,
I shot
yeah.
myself in the foot by seeing it so close together and like obviously
Maybe that's for me,
overanalyzing
yeah.
it, which is, I mean, I hate that I do that with anything. So
Yeah,
like,
I didn't want
consciously
to.
try not
Like
to.
this was not a movie I was expecting to. Like
Wow
I didn't
you.
have. Yeah, you know, I didn't have any great
I really
expectations for
shouldn't.
this.
I know.
For this one.
That's
That's
the
why
thing.
when I went in for it, I was like, oh,
I
cool.
did not expect this movie to. I did not have any high expectations for this movie until I saw the cartoon.
You know what?
Again, you know what I mean?
Here's the
So
other
it's
thing,
like,
by the way.
why did
The
you-
last movie that I've seen in the theater was Batman vs Superman, and then before
Sure.
that was Batman vs Superman, and
Yeah.
then before that Batman. So I saw it thrice. So that how dark that movie was like almost like a. I won't call it a palate cleanser by any means, but like it was just like it set the bar so low and so dark and gritty that I was just like, literally, you can show a man stabbing another dude, and even if it's like done in daylight, I'll feel like, wow, this is such a pleasant movie.
Oh,
so yeah.
Tangential rant for quick second.
So, but what's that? Before are we done with Jungle Book?
no,
So, did we
I, have
like
a,
it?
I have a quick.
Oh, you have a point
quick
to
thing
make.
about
Okay.
my viewing experience.
Yeah.
Saw it in IMAX.
Yeah.
Right. No subtitles.
Yeah, no subtitles,
Hallelujah.
right? Amazing.
God bless the man
so
who
good.
decided
Because I
not
saw
to do
it,
that.
I saw it in PVR, in another PVR, in Andheri, and it
And
did have
subtitles,
subtitles. So it's not a PVR thing.
Yeah, there's
So
no way
some
there's
movies
really,
have and some movies
and
don't.
it's not. It's like I've seen some IMAX shows where they have it, some where they don't have it.
What's
so
up with
I just,
that, man?
I want to crack this code. I want to like figure out this algorithm.
The algorithm, yeah.
but
Yeah.
F you to that SOB, whoever the hell is in charge of intermission timing.
I
in
can't
the
tell
middle,
you.
in the second measure of bare necessities.
Oh, what?
Who the hell is in charge of that? I want to slap him,
Dude.
with my genitalia.
I told you this, man. I think
I'm
I
trying my
love
hardest to be PC about this, but I can't. Like that. My God, man.
BCMC, bro.
My God.
That's what I say. And
Somebody
you know what?
consciously chose to do that.
I think he was just like wanted to win a bet. Just how I don't, you know, like I told you this last time. I
just
think
can't get over it.
I hate going to the movies as much as I love going to the movies now because first of all, these movies, they have no care for when they have a fixed like start point. Like they all just start. Okay, any given point of time. They don't turn off the lights when the movie starts.
This one, I'll tell you, wait. So, this one, 9 a.m., right? So, completely empty theater.
Oh, good
Totally
one,
empty.
good one.
Nobody outside. But, before we walk into IMAX, there's like 5, maybe 10 people standing outside because the door is closed.
Right.
Myself included. I assume they're cleaning or something.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I'm waiting for the door to open. Thankfully, somebody was right next to the door, with the door shut, on the outside,
Yeah.
and heard something. He's like, oh, I think it's starting. He opens the door, the national anthem is just finishing up. I'm like,
Oh,
holy
lucky
crap.
you.
So lucky us, we run in.
Yeah.
And so, for the first full 15 minutes, people are just filing in because they made no, like, they didn't take the
Yeah.
time to, like, tell people, by the way, the
Dude,
movie's like, they just kept the door closed.
So annoying.
Intermission happens, like I said, in the middle of freaking bare necessities. And then the intermission is
further.
literally,
And
the
then it
intermission
stops
is
there.
literally 2 minutes long. They don't play anything.
Yeah.
They don't even turn on the lights.
Yeah.
The lights are off. The screen is blank. We're in the dark for just 2 minutes. And people just get up at random points because like, okay, I guess it's intermission. I assume this is not a technical malfunction. And then the movie just starts up again randomly and people then have to like run back in not knowing. It's like,
dude, it's the worst. Okay, here's the other thing. Okay, I mean, like, apart from like subtitles which are just so erratic, like, I don't know, sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. National anthem in the beginning, only in Maharashtra, forced nationalism. Hate that. I hate the intermissions are 22 minutes long. I've timed it, dude. That is ridiculous. The whole, and they do it for English movies, do it for Hindi movies, because obviously Hindi movie makers have copped out and sold out, and they said, we'll make a movie in 2 halves. So basically they've copped out to advertisers saying, please take your space, please shove your advertisements which totally ruin the feeling of the movie right in the middle of my movie.
like Turkish Airlines in the middle
Then
of a
play
Batman
your
movie.
ad, which is a brand endorsement of your movie, okay, in the middle of the movie, even if it has scenes
featuring characters and scenes of said movie.
from the second half. So you're seeing the second half before the first. So they did it in this movie also. They did
Jungle
Jungle
Book?
Book, yeah.
What did they do?
There was a Jungle Book ad with, I don't know, it was a bike or some bags or some shit. Not
Was it
Kipling
Kipling
bags.
bags?
No, it was not Kipling bags. It was not Kipling bags. But even worse, okay? I'm just saying, like, and I was just like, dude, 20 minutes of advertisements, dude? And then I speak to some people and they're just like, I like it because I can go to the bathroom. I was like, dude, but no. Cancel. I mean, I'm sorry, but like the whole point is you go to a theater because it's dark, it's quiet, and this you can only view the screen and you can only hear the sound, and there's nothing else. And that spell is broken every time there's a terrible intermission, and that too for so long. I mean, not that there should be one anyway in English movies. Just
really should.
what do we do, man? It's just the worst. I hate it. I almost hate going to the movies. Like, I'd much rather buy a huge television or get a projector and start watching stuff at home.
I mean, that's
you're
why
yet to see Deadpool, right?
I haven't
You're
seen
yet-
Deadpool yet. I mean, I basically...
Such a good reason for that, dude.
I've ostensibly boycotted watching movies in theaters,
Which
other
are
than
censored,
the movies
yeah.
on our list that we know we're going to be reviewing. And like, I'll make the exception. Like, Deadpool, like I said, I'm way too invested. I will not see that messed up. Jungle Book, I didn't care about that much. I knew it would get ruined by an intermission. I didn't think it would get ruined this much.
Right.
But I was willing to do it. Like Star Wars...
We can't help it. What do
I
we
have
do
to see
there?
it. I have to see it.
We can't help it.
I don't know if I'll see... There's another R-rated movie I think that's coming out that I'm on the fence about seeing. I forget which one it is. But there's so like some movies I will, some movies I won't. I have to really play it by ear.
What do we do? I have no idea. I mean, like, it's just terrible watching a movie in India. And specifically Maharashtra.
I genuinely would gladly pay more than ticket price
100% without
see it
clean
on
master.
on a small screen at home. I would pay more than what cost
So
me
that's
to see it
what's
in
happening in
IMAX.
the States right now, right? With
What?
Spielberg and stuff. He's basically charging you like a premium kind of fee, and you get to watch the movie at
On
home
demand?
on demand, like at the same time it releases,
Ricky
right?
Gervais's David Brent movie is
Yeah.
on Netflix.
Yeah. Crazy.
Very excited for that.
Dude, Netflix, man, is
Yeah.
going to change the game.
I really-
I really hope the trend of watching movies changes,
Yeah.
just so that people in India have a chance at experiencing
Honestly,
a movie
yeah.
like well.
Yeah, because
Anyway.
I mean, we all love watching movies with a whole bunch of fanboys who like get
Yeah,
every
it's
single
great.
joke.
It's
That's
great.
great,
Yeah.
but it's not worth it if the movie is ruined.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch a movie with a bunch of my friends if I'm going to watch the movie. Watch like only a percentage of the
Percentage,
movie.
oh, gosh,
I'd
okay.
rather just watch it by myself. I'm fine with that.
Fair enough. Okay, The Jungle Book. I really liked it. I went in with no expectations. I enjoyed it. I enjoy the cartoon over and over again. I don't know if I could watch this as much as the cartoon. The cartoon is
No
classic
chance,
for a reason. But you know what? Pleasantly surprised in the sense that I did like the cast. I thought they all did a decent job, especially Ben Kingsley as Bagheera. It was almost like exporting that into Cinema 3D or Cinema 4D and just
Sure.
like making a real thing.
So I agree. Yep,
Yeah.
same deal. I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was not terrible by
It was
any
not
means,
terrible
yeah.
by any means. I'm nitpicking at a bunch of things. I'm only
No, fair
drawing
enough,
comparisons
fair
as a movie on its own.
We did miss Colonel Hartman.
I did miss him a lot.
Yeah.
On a movie on its own, I am a fan. I am definitely a fan of it.
Cool.
So yeah.
All right, let's do our random news for the day.
Random news generator.
I mean, we were going to talk about Rogue One and the...
That's not random at all.
But I'm going to give you a little more local stuff.
Okay.
A couple of our friends, Saurabh Roy, who's actually written for the Lightyears, written for Geek Fruit.
And he writes for a band called The Lightyears Explode.
Yeah, and-
he writes the music for it.
Yes, and our other friend, Omar Iyer, have just started a web series called... I don't know what it's called, actually, but the channel is called Two Guys Talking. And we're going to share it on our page. And they're basically talking about their gripes with the dawn of justice, what they liked and what they didn't like. And it's first kind of like, at least like it's like kind of local, so it's cool if you want to see what people from India kind of are have the same if they have the same problems as everybody else does, which pretty much is the case. I managed only to catch a couple of minutes of the first one. They have 2 parts to it, so yeah, they're talking about the dawn of justice and stuff like that. So definitely check that out if you haven't seen it. Have you seen it, by the way?
I do just like, I saw they put up like a preview of it.
They did. No, they've done a second episode now.
No, they put up a preview of the first
episode?
one, which like 15 seconds, which was just them like, it was like a silly little BTS
aside.
campaign, so I
Okay,
saw
cool.
that. So I've yet to see it, but I'm excited
So
to see that.
that's there.
So keep an eye out for that on our
Page.
and such.
Yeah.
So my bit of news is just verifying my BS that I said a little bit ago, which is in fact not BS.
It was an educated guess.
It was a solid guess.
It was a solid guess. You know why?
So-
Because you said the logo is a monkey, and
It
I
is
was
a
like,
monkey.
that's it. There, that's the one. That's
Yeah.
what confirms it.
So evidently the Kipling bags
What are the odds,
and their
you know?
mascot is some sort of homage of some kind to 1R Kipling. So hey, I guess this means that if you want to be really nerdy about it, you should buy Kipling and say F you to Jansport, because I don't know what they're like supporting.
What? Jansport,
Yeah.
the famous
What do you
book.
think Jansport's about? What do you like? Who do they get their inspiration from?
Any form of exercise celebrated in the month of January.
Any famous Jans out there?
Janis Joplin.
Janis Joplin. Wait, I feel like there's a cartoon Jan somewhere.
Jan is the wife of
Jan Brady? No, Jan.
Jetson. No, that's Judy.
That's
no,
Judy.
Jane. That's Jane.
Jane. Janet.
Damn it.
Dan.
Okay, man.
Well-
we'll figure it out. But I have better news, by the way.
Okay.
I mean, sorry, I have terrible news for you.
Uh-oh.
Are you ready for this? I don't know if Jishnu, Guha, you will be able to tolerate this. Marvel's Inhumans movie set to miss 2019 release date.
Okay. No, that's fine. There's a lot
I know
at
you
stake.
love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So
I
that's
will
why.
wait. I will wait for this. This movie better be amazing because there's a lot riding on this movie. I'm fine with waiting. That's the thing.
Okay, cool. So it's just not coming out in 2019.
That's fine.
You know
Just
how
do
old,
it well.
If it comes out in 2020, how old will you be?
I will be.
You will be the oldest
I was
Agents of
born in-
S.H.I.E.L.D. nerd.
I was born in '89. How old will I be?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I don't know mathematics.
No, you'll be 31.
I'll be 31.
Yeah.
Holy crap. That's weird.
You'll be 31. Yes, and confirming Jungle Book 2 in the works at
There you
Disney. So is it going to suck like Iron Man 2?
Probably.
I'm just excited to see War Machine Baloo. That will be cool. That will be exciting.
Cool.
Anything else? Are we done for today? I suppose.
Yes.
Yes, we're done.
Let's call it
Cool.
a day. All right.
Yeah, we're going to have a really cool episode next week, hopefully, where we're going to be inviting one of our friends, Vikas, who helps run a network called Tabletop India, which is basically the board gaming, one of the bigger board gaming communities in India and in Bombay specifically
Definitely
right now.
Bombay.
So we're going to be playing some some board games with him,
yeah.
and then we're going to be talking about them and in anticipation of World Tabletop Day. So everybody bust out your board games, man.
Give organic gaming a chance.
Give social gaming its requisite.
Give face-to-face gaming a chance. Remember your friends and actually seeing them?
Yeah.
That's the
And
one
not your
thing.
phones.
That's the one thing I really regret about MMO.
I was just gonna say,
I know
the amount of Marvel's Contest of
Yeah.
Champions you play.
I have 30 best friends.
Yeah,
Of
so
whom
do
are
I.
all a
I have
bunch of
allies,
random
bro.
numbers.
I have
and,
allies.
yeah, a bunch of
I don't have friends. I have
random numbers
allies.
and figures on an iPad screen. Anyway.
Okay, excellent. So we're going to be giving you more information about that on all our social media, which is at GeekFruit HQ. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, I suppose. No, not really. You can find us on Instagram.
Retracted.
Instagram, and you can mostly you can just get all our stuff on geekfruit.in, and we have a really cool banner which Jishnu you designed, which is amazing. It's got plenty of Easter eggs.
Is it out yet?
It's up.
Oh, it is up.
It's up,
Okay,
and it looks
yeah.
beautiful, and it's got plenty of Easter eggs. See if you can spot them
Yeah.
all. You gotta catch them all.
There are at
It's
least
my
20.
Pokemon.
See how many you can get.
Okay, cool. And yeah, if you have any other queries, please don't use the word queries anymore, does it?
Until next time, you nerd.
Contact geekfruit@gmail.com. Hey Jishnu, are you thirsty?
I'm always thirsty.
This has another meaning, by the way, the word. But I know we enjoy our beer.
I'm also adventurous.
Yes, are you adventurous and you like beer?
I'm adventurous for beer.
And are you a cheap guy?
I do this show with you.
Yeah.
So
So then you will definitely love Adventures of Cheap Beer with 3 people who get drunk doing the podcast, which is actually pretty cool.
we
concept.
should do that.
Yeah, we kind of do the opposite, which is we get drunk the previous night and then we do the podcast the next day. So this is in the moment. they get drunk and they speak, and it's a great podcast, and it's done by Siddhant Mehta, Suyash Barve, and Karan Agarwal. The first two actually who are friends of mine from like way back. So they're really cool people, and they just review these really seedy joints in Bombay. So you should check them out on ivmpodcast.com.
This sounds like a great time.
Yes.
Do it.